And you're here to speak for Matt Wilcox?
That's correct. Yep.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Dear members of the Board of Alders and members of the general public, a hallmark of strength of the Board of Alders is how it has been strategic in its use of its authority to improve the state of the city. The Board of Alders has effectively used this power to call attention to important issues in our school system. This committee now needs to use its power and voice to demand necessary changes from the Board of Education and to delay or deny any reappointment process until they are made. Reappointments should be suspended until pressing matters can be addressed and community confidence in the Board of Education is restored. I ask that the committee make 3 necessary demands to the Board of Ed. Number 1, we need the Board of Education to share data as to what are the in-school causes of underperformance in 3rd grade reading and the abnormally high chronic absenteeism, as well as a plan to address the underlying causes. It is not enough to blame the same pandemic faced by every other Connecticut city and town. We are dead last in the state, behind Bridgeport, behind Waterbury, behind each and every one of the other 168 cities and towns in Connecticut. Dead last. Thanks to the leadership of this Board of Education and the mayor of New Haven. The Board of Education and district leadership must focus on what we can change in our schools and not waste time on what we cannot. A public and data-backed presentation on the school-based factors that are contributing to these alarming outcomes is long overdue. Number 2, the Board of Education must include parent and teacher representative members in the search committee for a new superintendent, as Alder Antunes, you correctly pointed out. This is known to be best practice, as we have heard in previous Board of Alders Education Committee meetings. The current search committee only consists of the current Board of Ed members, which is business as usual. Even the nominee that was before you all, expressed concern not to repeat history. Yet this is exactly what our Board of Education does over and over again, and then moans publicly that we don't get a new outcome. That is the definition of insanity, and I am asking this committee to put a stop to the madness. Given the lack of rigor seen in the Board of Education, and what we know to be an inclusive and effective practice, it is imperative that community members be included in the formal search committee so that those directly impacted by the choice of the next superintendent have a voice in the process. Number 3, for community members to have confidence, the community must also be welcomed back in person to meetings, as is our tradition. While the pandemic changed the world, most of the world is back to work. Our teachers are in classrooms, our bus drivers drive buses, our schools of higher learning are humming along, our stores and hotels are open for business. The lack of any in-person public forum has contributed to the lack of trust among parents and the feeling that the board is not accountable or transparent to the public. In all honesty, given the level of dysfunction on the Board of Ed and the horrific underperformance of our schools, this body today needs to use its power to demand these bare minimum policies from the Board of Ed. Our current Board of Ed should be under serious review from this body. Not only the individuals who are appointed to the board, but how the board conducts itself and exerts its authority. We need much more from our leadership. and a thorough review process where parents and teachers can have a voice, not speedy reappointment of existing leadership to a failing Board of Ed. I hope that every alder here will consider what is best for our schools and make the decision to use their power to bring about the necessary changes within the Board of Ed. Thank you.